This is fishing. For the next 24 hours, I'm gonna be catching every single fish from scratch. And as soon as I press this button, the timer begins. Let's catch our first fish. Oh my god, this rod is so slow. There's no way I can really start the challenge like this. Not with this rod, it's weak and very slow. I have to quickly get my hands on better rods to beat this challenge. The easiest one to get for now is the carbon rod, which sells for 2,000 credits. I had to get money fast. I immediately started fishing, and after catching a couple fish, I managed to sell my inventory for 2,000 credits, allowing me to buy the carbon rod. Now that I got the carbon rod, I could finally catch more fish easily, but it's still weak for the rarer fish I'm gonna need to beat this challenge. I had to get a stronger and more powerful rod, the Arctic rod. But it cost 25,000 credits, and I only got 500. I had to find a way to make more money quickly. Luckily, there's a better island I can make money on, Forsaken Shores, but it's very far away, and swimming all the way there will take a lot of time, which I can't really afford. I had to get myself a boat quickly. Fortunately, I found this boat which only cost 750 credits, so I immediately started fishing until I could finally afford it. I rushed to Forsaken Shores. The fish here are supposed to be rarer, and as soon as I started fishing, I reeled a mythical. Look at how fast this thing is going. It's so freaking hectic. But luckily the carbon rod made this thing easy to catch. And bam! My first ever captain's goldfish. But one goldfish wasn't enough to afford the Arctic rod. I had to fish for more. So I kept fishing, and after catching so many goldfish, I could finally afford it. Now that I got the Arctic rod, I headed to the next best fishing spot, Atlantean Storm. You can catch a lot more legendary and mythical fish here, but the Arctic rod isn't fast enough to catch them quickly. I mean, right after hooking every fish here, it takes ages for me to catch them. Luckily, there's a faster, more powerful rod, the Trident rod. It has a stun feature that can freeze a fish and boost your progress, and it can turn fish blue, which can make them sell for triple the price. But it costs a whopping 150,000 credits. I had to make enough money quickly, especially since I was finally close to getting the best rod for this challenge. After fishing for quite a while, this happened. Meg! Yo! I gotta go catch it. That's like easy, Meg! I immediately called my friend to pick me up, and we headed straight to Ancient Isles, and we found a Megalodon. Luckily, the Arctic rod is strong enough to catch the Megalodon, and so I cast my rod and kept waiting until... Oh! I had to catch it. This freaking Megalodon is erratic as heck. What the heck is this movement? Until finally... No way, bro! No way! Is it ancient? No way! No way, it's ancient! It's ancient! Not even 1 hour and a half into the challenge, we already got one of the rarest fish in the entire game! That was freaking insane! But I couldn't waste much time, so I headed back to Atlantean Storm and took a look at the bestiary. This was my chance to finally start this challenge. I had to finish the Atlantean Storm bestiary now. Fish after fish, I was so close to finishing the Atlantean Storm bestiary until I realized I had one fish missing. The Abyss Snapper. Such a badass name for a common fish. Oh, but it is quite badass. Cause despite it being common, I couldn't find it at all. I decided to head to Forsaken Shores and sell my inventory to see how close I was to affording the Trident rod. I made a whopping 133,000 credits whilst looking for that stupid fish. I headed back to Atlantean Storm and started fishing. And finally, after quite a while, I managed to catch it, finishing my first ever bestiary. I headed back to Forsaken Shores to sell the rest of the fish that I caught, and I managed to get 26,000 credits, meaning I could finally afford the Trident rod. But 150 credits aren't the only requirement. I still had to complete the Desolate Deep's entire bestiary to unlock the Trident rod, which is literally one of the hardest bestiaries to complete. The fish here are so rare, it can literally take hours to complete it. So I bought myself a speedboat to save up some time and immediately headed to Desolate Deep. That's an interesting looking fish. Maybe I should catch it. Nah, it can wait for later. I dove down Desolate Deep, trying to avoid any sea mines. I don't wanna die, and after quite a while, I managed to get to the Desolate Pocket. We got 12 new fish to catch, and we gotta hurry. Little did I know, I was up for a very big surprise. After just 2 minutes of fishing, I reel in a legendary and catch the Midnight Axolotl. 5 minutes later... Mythical. Nice! We got it. I managed to get 2 of the hardest fish in just 7 minutes. This is literally insane. There is only one more legendary I need to catch, the barbed shark, and after just 10 minutes...
Oh, please be barbed shark. Please be barbed shark. It has to be a barbed shark.
Unfortunately, turns out it was a midnight axolotl. I kept fishing and fishing, but I just couldn't reel it in. I needed more luck. And that's when I remembered you can buy luck from Merlin. I headed to Sunstone Island and bought around 40 minutes of luck. And as soon as I cast my rod...
Oh, legendary. Please be the one. Please be the one. Barbed shark!
I finally got it! There's only one fish left, the sea mine, which you can only catch using crab cages. So I immediately started placing crab cages. And a few minutes in...
Oh my god!
Thought that was insane? Wait till you see this.
Oh my god, double sea mines. What the heck?
Now that I've finished the bestiary, I headed towards the Trident Rod's gate and finally bought the Trident Rod. Now that I got the Trident Rod, I could easily make myself more money, especially since I could finally save up to get the best rod for this challenge, the Depths Rod. It comes with a ghost that can fish for you, allowing me to save up even more time and catch more fish to complete this challenge. But it is not cheap, not at all. It costs 750,000 credits. I couldn't waste any time, so I immediately headed to Atlantean Storm and gave Grand Reef a go. Might as well finish another bestiary and make some money. Surprisingly, it was actually quite easy. I continued fishing and selling my inventory over and over. I even managed to enchant my Trident Rod with Hasty, making it catch fish even faster, until... another Megalodon appears. I immediately rushed to catch it, and surprisingly, it wasn't that hard of a catch. Man, what the heck is this cutscene? Yeah, I'm getting rid of this boat. That's better. Now that I got this jet ski, I headed back to Atlantean Storm and kept on fishing until this happened. During a mutation surge, you can catch more mutated fish. You can also get a mutation on your fish by talking to the appraiser in Moosewood and giving her all of your life savings. The Depth Rod is locked behind a maze which can only be opened if given 2 mutated enchant relics, an abyssal one and a hexed one. So I immediately started appraising my enchant relics, and after quite a while, I managed to get a hexed one. I only needed an abyssal one, so I continued appraising and somehow...
we got mythical enchant relic before abyssal.
Shortly after, the mutation surge ended and I sold my fish for 80,000 credits. I decided to wait for another mutation surge and headed to catch both the whale shark and great white shark. But I realized waiting for another mutation surge will take forever, so I traded my mythical enchant relic for an abyssal one from this lovely guy. Now that I got both relics, I headed back to Atlantean Storm and realized that it might not be the best spot for me to make money. Not with this rod. Luckily, the area that the Depth Rod is locked within happens to be one of the best fishing spots in the game, the Depths. In order to unlock the Depths, you have to finish Vertigo's bestiary, which directly gives us progress in this challenge. But to get to Vertigo, you'd have to find a whirlpool with a spout of water on top. Fortunately, it didn't take long till I found one, so I immediately started fishing. Right away, I managed to get myself the depths key, which we'll be using to open the gate the depths is locked behind. Shortly after, I got a mythical. One of the hardest mythicals to get is the Isonade, which is required for Vertigo's bestiary. This mythical had to be the Isonade. If it wasn't, I'll lose so much time looking for it. Luckily, I caught it. Right away, I jumped into the whirlpool and continued fishing for the rest of the bestiary. And luckily, it didn't take long for me to finish it. Now that we're 4 hours into the challenge, I wasted no time and immediately opened the depths and started fishing. I started catching as many fish as I could. I had to know if all this was worth it. The depths had to be the better fishing spot. And it is. Right after selling my fish, this happened.
It's dark. It's f***ing dark. That's so perfect. Oh my god.
When the depths goes dark, you can fish one of the rarest fish in the entire game, the Ancient Serpent. This was also my chance to complete the depths bestiary. I had to catch it, so I started fishing trying to catch the Ancient Serpent, but unfortunately the darkness was gone. But I finally had enough to buy the depths rod. I placed both enchant relics on their pedestals and opened the depths maze. I made my way through the maze and I could finally buy the depths rod. Now that I got the best rod for this challenge, I can finally truly catch every single fish in the game. With only 19 hours and a half left, I had to complete 15 bestiaries for 15 different islands, starting with the one below, the depths. Because we were fishing here before, I only needed one fish to complete the bestiary, the ancient serpent. As I was fishing, the depths went dark again. This was my chance. I immediately started fishing, and this happened. He's literally moving everywhere. I can't let him escape though. Every single time, as soon as I got close, it kept moving away. Until I finally got it and finished the depths bestiary. Which brings us all the way back to Moosewood. Although it's where everyone starts, Moosewood apparently has legendaries and mythicals, and even an exotic piano. I got 16 fish to catch and the timer is ticking. I had to start fishing, and it didn't take long until this happened. This is actually the first time I ever catch this legendary. I gotta get my hands on that piano fish too. I headed to an island near Moosewood and started fishing, and it was surprisingly a rather easy catch. Look at it. And just like that, I finished Moosewood's bestiary. Right after Moosewood, I managed to finish all of these islands' bestiaries pretty quickly. But then I got to Snowcap Island, which also had 16 fish. I immediately headed to Snowcap's cave, where you can catch a bunch of legendaries and mythicals. But turns out the fish I was catching were ocean fish instead of Snowcap fish. I realized I should have been fishing at Snowcap's pond, so I started climbing my way up to the pond, and for some reason I was stuck trying to get a blackfish. Despite it just being uncommon, it took forever for me to catch it. I had one fish left to catch, the herring. The best spot to fish for it is by Snowcap's deck during the day. And finally, after so long, this stupid ghost not only decides to insult me but also catches it for me. Right after beating Snowcap, I headed to one of the hardest islands to beat, Roslet Island. It has a fish with only a 1% chance to be caught, the Golden Pearl. With just 16.5 hours left, I had to immediately catch it. But before I could catch the pearl, I had to catch every other fish in Roslet. I immediately started fishing. I had to catch all 25 fish quickly. I was only missing the stingray so far. Fortunately, I managed to catch it. Right after catching the stingray, I headed to the back of Roslet, where you can catch the clam that the Golden Pearl is hidden within. I kept fishing and fishing, but unfortunately, I kept getting nothing. I even accidentally managed to reel in a mythic fish before the Golden Pearl. I can't give up. It's literally the only fish missing. Suddenly, this happened.
I got it! Oh my god! Jesus Christ, that's insane.
But despite getting the Golden Pearl, I still wasn't done with Roslet Island. Apparently, there are fish that can be literally caught within the volcano, but you can't really fish in lava, can you? That is true unless you got the reinforced rod, which can catch fish in lava and even acid. So I bought the reinforced rod and somehow managed to enchant it on the first try with Hasty. I headed to the volcano and immediately started fishing. I was easily catching every single fish until I reeled in the obsidian salmon. Look at how fast the thing is moving. Fortunately, after quite a while, I finally managed to catch it. After finishing Roslet's bestiary, I had to catch every single fish in the ocean. I immediately opened the bestiary to check which fish I had to catch, but then the Megalodon appeared out of nowhere. I rushed to Ancient Isles, and it didn't take long until this happened. Getting another Megalodon would be huge. I gotta catch it. Luckily, it didn't fight as much and I managed to catch it. But the timer is ticking. I have only 14.5 hours left. I had to immediately start fishing for the 8 missing fish. And as soon as I cast my rod, I reel in a legendary. Not just any legendary. I reeled in a sawfish. Look at this thing. I had 2 more fish to catch to finish the ocean's bestiary. A dolphin and one of the hardest fish to catch in the entire game. An orca. You can only catch orcas once an hour during an orca migration. Not to mention, they're incredibly feisty. But fortunately, it didn't take long until a migration started. I had to immediately catch an orca, so I just went for it. I tracked down the orcas and started fishing, hoping to catch one. And after casting my rod over and over, I finally reeled one in. Every single time I got a hold of him, I kept losing him. I'm just trying my best to keep a hold of him. Finally, after such a long fight, I got myself an orca. 1 fish left, the dolphin. I continued following the orcas while fishing for a dolphin, and shortly after, I finally caught the dolphin, finishing the entire ocean's bestiary. Now that I finished the ocean's bestiary, I had to beat one of the most bizarre bestiaries in the entire game, the brine pool bestiary. I'm essentially going to be fishing in acid. Crazy, right? But there's a catch. It's also one of the hardest bestiaries to finish. There's a mythical in there that has a 1 in 800 chance to be caught. the spectral serpent. I immediately headed towards the brine pool and started fishing. What makes this fish so difficult to catch too is that you can only fish her with only the reinforced rod, which is very weak. Fortunately, I enchanted it with resilient to make it strong just enough to be able to catch it, but the actual hard part is reeling it in. Again, my odds are very low. I'd go as far to say too low, so I bought a little bit of luck and kept fishing. I reeled fish after fish, but still no spectral serpent until...
Yo!
But despite reeling it in, I still had to catch it, and damn was it hard. Look how low my progress bar is growing. The worst part, if I miss it just for a few seconds, I lose so much progress. After fighting it for what seemed like an eternity, I finally caught it. After finishing the Brine Pool's bestiary, I completed the Northern Expedition's bestiary and headed to what might be the hardest island to beat in the entire game. Ancient Isles. Its bestiary is so huge, not to mention it has some of the rarest fish in the entire game, like this moonstone gem, which you have a 1.4 chance of finding. I have only 12 hours left for the challenge. I gotta get going. I rushed to Ancient Isles and started catching a bunch of legendaries and mythicals, but there was one fish I struggled to catch the most. The Onychodus?
Onychodus.
I looked everywhere for it. The worst part, I didn't even know where to fish for it until I finally found it in the ocean nearby. Now that I caught every fish in Ancient Isles, I had to get every gemstone from literal meteors. Every meteor has a chance of spawning a gemstone in it, and if you're lucky enough, you can get a moonstone gem. I obviously needed a lot of meteors, and the only way to spawn them is through a totem that costs literally 90,000 credits. I'm sorry, I'm not Elon Musk, but luckily I have rich friends. We immediately started spawning meteors and checking them over and over. Meteor after meteor, I got every gemstone but the moonstone. The timer is ticking. I had to get one now. Until, out of nowhere, this happens.
Oh my god! We actually got it!
Now that I finally completed Ancient Isles bestiary, I had to get one of the rarest items in the entire game, an Exalted Relic. There are two ways to get it. You can either fish it up or complete the Exalted Relic quest. You'll have 7 colorful pedestals, which you'll have to put 7 different enchant relics on, which will reward you with 3 Exalted Relics and the rod of the Exalted one. But I didn't have enough time, so I traded both of my Megalodons for the 7 enchant relics and headed to Mushgroove Island. I got inside the hidden entrance and placed all 7 enchant relics on their pedestals, giving me the Exalted Relics I needed. With that said, there's only one bestiary left. Atlantis. Best part about this is that I still had 9.5 hours left for the challenge, which is perfect, or so I thought. Anyhow, I finished the Atlantis quest and headed immediately to Atlantis. Atlantis is split into 4 different rooms, each having their own unique fish and puzzles. Once you complete all puzzles, you'll be able to get into the Kraken pool, which is where our final exotic fish is located. I mean, you guessed it, it's a Kraken. So I immediately started completing every room's puzzle until I got to Zeus Trial. You had 2 games to play, Red Light Green Light and Lava Stepping Stones. Once you beat them, you would get a secret code to open the gates. Pretty straightforward until you realize there's a 5-minute timer. I had to beat those 2 games quickly. So I started with Red Light Green Light, which I immediately failed. So I tried again, over and over again, until I'm so freaking close. I finally made it. I got the code and looked at the timer. I got only 3.5 minutes left, so I had to rush my way to the lava stepping stones. It was finally time. I had to take my first step. Luckily, the rock didn't fall. I had to make it in time, but then I got to the 4th one, and unfortunately I fell into the lava. I got literally only 1.5 minutes left. I didn't think about it. I just rushed my way through it, but I fell once more. 50 seconds left. This is my chance. Luckily, I managed to make it in time. All I gotta do is put the code in and the gate finally opened. Fortunately, catching the fish in the Zeus room was easy, so I headed to the next room where a freaking Kraken appeared. Do you know how rare that is? But unfortunately, I had to stay focused and finish all of the room's bestiaries instead. After what felt like forever, I finally finished all of the room's bestiaries and did the Kraken's pool puzzle, giving me a chance to catch the Kraken. All I had to do now was fish and wait, and
we got it!
It appeared. I had to catch it. Look how slowly this progress bar is growing. This is literally insane. I can't believe how fast that happened. I finally finished Atlantis' bestiary. But there's a catch. Remember the exalted relics I previously got? For some reason, they didn't count in the bestiary, meaning I still haven't caught every fish in the game yet. 99.7%. I'm literally one exalted relic away from 100% completion. I came up with a last minute plan to head to Sunstone's Island's cave and fish there using the rod of the exalted one, which increases your odds of getting an exalted relic. I mean, I still had 8 hours left, 7 hours left, still no exalted relic, 6 hours, 5 hours, turned into 4 hours, but unfortunately, I never managed to get it. I can't believe it. All that for nothing. I am not giving up though. It's not over. I guess we'll have to wait for the next video. But before this video ends, I'm giving away 10,000 Robux to 5 lucky winners. All you have to do is subscribe and join the Discord server in the description below. Thank you guys for watching this video. We'll get them next time. Peace.